audio engineering. So he was talking about, working at a place compared to being your own boss, right? And he was a huge advocate for like owning a business, not being an employee, because he's just like, well, you have to think about it. Who's writing the tax code? Who's writing, corporate code and all this kind of stuff? Is it employees or is it business people? Like this is all, written by business people for business people. It's not designed to for the low guy on the totem pole to get ahead. Like it's designed in the exact opposite fashion, right? So nefarious stuff, man. But it's no different up here than down there for like 99% of stuff. I don't think like our nations are very, very similar in so more similar than not, basically. You know what I mean?
You guys can buy psilocybin mushrooms on like Craigslist and the internet. And just
there's I get like Google ads for like mushrooms are they actually just I don't think it's in Canada, but in BC they just made it so people I guess it's like hole in the water sort of thing, but like for veterans with PTSD, they're actually right near my house. They're opening up a new Legion, which is like for veterans. I don't know if you guys have those down here.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like the first of its kind. It's kind of like a research center dedicated for psychedelics to treat PTSD and things like that.
Fantastic.
So I find that, like that's good. And they also changed it in BC. So people who are like terminal cases and stuff like that can access psychedelics as well, mushrooms and MDMA specifically. So you can get like government provided, people for like end of life type things. So, good. I think that's good. I mean, I think it's people should be able to do whatever they want. I'm a big fan of like people as long as you're not hurting someone else or asking someone to hurt someone else or trying, you know what I mean? But like in general, like for these types of things, take the brakes off, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I agree.
It's just like, like the war on drugs won. Like drugs won.
It's over.
Or good.
We called it a while ago. Can we get on now?
Totally.
Yeah, it's just like when did the war on drugs start? In like the 70s or something? The 80s? Like it was the early 80s with Reagan? I don't know, but
late 60s and early 70s.
Humans need to start putting support systems in place for humans rather than control systems.
Yeah. They're doing that a lot up here. Like they've decriminalized possession of like heroin and stuff like that, like personal possession, because they want people to feel comfortable to get it tested, so it's not doesn't have fentanyl in it and things like that, right? And they want people to your buddy's overdosing. Well, I've got drugs on me. Well, I'm not going to call the ambulance because I don't want to get arrested, right? So they don't want things like that happening. So, in a lot, like in Vancouver specifically, they have a pretty progressive policy for all that kind of stuff. But municipally, they can only do so much, right? Like they can't change, supersede federal law in a municipality kind of thing. But in general, in Vancouver, it's super progressive in that sense.
When I decided to do this, I was in such a opportune place. Like California was on the road to legalization, and I was pretty confident that they would fully legalize. We were already medicinal, and it's so casually accepted here. And I was like, I could be okay with outing myself as a stoner now, because before, like when I was working in the .com life, if word got out that I was a stoner, it could have ruined my career. Like I remember going to an SEO conference and partying with some really like high level, like super authority SEO guys, and I don't want to out them here, but they offered weed, and I was like, oh my god, fuck, this dude smokes. I want to smoke with this dude, but my coworkers are here. I'll get shit canned for this, like I can't smoke with this idol of mine because of the situation, and now in California, I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna fuck all that anxiety, all that weird, what if they find out? And
well, and it is too, to like, not to kind of make anyone a hero, but like it really is up to people like ourselves who consume on camera to kind of normalize this type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, not necessarily just the three of us, but like in general, right? Like, if we ever want to get to a place where, when kids are growing up, they're aware that there's maybe alcohol that people consume at parties, and then there's weed that people consume at parties. Like, people probably aren't doing hard drugs at parties around kids, I hope, but like, there will hopefully be a day where it becomes kind of like a coffee and tea. You know what I mean? Like, not so much as like, we only have coffee here. There's some tea drinkers, but we don't talk about the tea drinkers. Like, it just takes people using it, be like, yeah, I use this, and I also, like, have a family and have a career, and it's not like the sole thing I am. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's so okay for a mom to have a rough day and have a glass of wine at 5 o'clock, and it's almost a culture thing. Like, hey,
yeah,
yeah, cheers.
it's wine
But
o'clock, and like, have water bottles with little, say, oh, there's like some little, trope about wine or something. And like, these are like normalized, and like, oh, mommy wine club. And like, this is cool, but it's just like, oh yeah, I took a 3 milligram CBD edible this morning. It's like, oh God, call CPS, and it's
right?
just like,
No shit.
why? Like, why? Like, there's no reason for it. I mean, up here, it's fully legal, right? And it doesn't feel, honestly, it doesn't feel any different to me, like none, because it always felt like that up here. Like, it wasn't the case, but that's just how it always felt. Like, you weren't worried about getting busted or anything like that. But now that it's actually legal, it's definitely better. You know what I mean? Because it's like, now you can, you're not allowed to, you're not allowed to drive after. Like, there's things you can't do. Like, for plants, you're limited to how many you can grow and all this sort of thing. But there's a system and infrastructure and rules in place. And the government weed has been getting significant, because there's not like government weed. It's just, the producers that are, licensed to sell, kind of thing. And I've noticed a real improvement in quality. Like, certain growers now, like, you get just fantastic stuff from them, but it's expensive. It's expensive. It's just, they tax the ever loving hell out of it. We've got an extra in BC. So if you want to buy a cartridge, right? A lot of people do. Cartridges are crazy popular, always surprisingly popular. You pay 12% tax, like, on the purchase, GST and PST, but you also pay 20% of vape tax on cartridges. So you're paying 32% tax if you want to buy a cartridge up here. And it's just like, why? Why are we punishing people for this kind of thing, right? Like, it's like, there's already tax. You know what I mean? You're taxing the tax at this point. Don't get me started about taxes.